Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Vulnerability Time All-Star Season. Deshaun is back. Deshaun, you were before we get more into this, you were mentioning something about my headphones. I would just love for you to reiterate that for the
Yeah, I
folks.
need everyone to know, everyone that is paying attention, listening. Josiah has the best headphones I've ever seen in my entire life. They're awesome. Like the lights, holy, that's like some like starship alien esque
Ah,
vibe going. I love it. It's extraterrestrial.
it's giving intergalactic. It's giving
Exactly.
galaxy. It's giving universal. I'm here for
Exactly.
it. And
Given Cosmos.
wow. Yes. I actually wasn't even gonna get headphones, but the software that I used to record the podcast, it updated, um, and that made the other person's mic echo into my mic. So you just hear a big echo, and it's
Oh yeah.
technology stuff. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
We fixed it. We got some pretty dope headphones, dude. On
To
it,
say
I
the
love
least.
it. Look at that. What? Okay. So, Deshaun, it's been since season one since you've been on the podcast, and you've definitely been a very much requested special guest. So, I had to reach out to you for the All-Star season. I'm actually glad you couldn't do season three because that just makes the All-Star season so much better. I wasn't even planning to do an All-Star season. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I was actually feeling like quitting the podcast during season three, but I'm glad I didn't. But here you are. How does it feel to be back, Deshaun?
I love it. I feel like so many like canon events and like pivotal character development moments have occurred in my life since then, right? So it definitely gives me a whole lot of material and substance to just discuss and cover. I
Yeah,
can be happy.
that's awesome. How does it feel to be like you were already an all-star in season one? How does it feel? How does it feel to be so well received? Very well received. Very.
Oh man, I appreciate it. If I wasn't so brown, I'd be blushing right now. I don't know what to say. Um, it was shocking to say the least. Like I know I never second guess my performance or my ability to speak with fervor and passion, conviction, and all that, right?
Mhm.
But I'm not sure. I just it was a lot and in the best way possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't be more humbled and more blessed.
Good to see you, man. Good to
Yeah,
see
you
you.
too.
And
You
it's
too.
great for people to finally put a face to the voice. Love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. So, folks, today we're talking about, um, okay, one second. Let me get the topics pulled up. I accidentally clicked out of it. What am I doing? So while I get that, we're going to go ahead and stall. Well, oh, no, just kidding. I found it. Okay, so we're going to be talking about when you feel life has robbed you. The next one is fear is not a solid foundation, but love is. Interesting, interesting. And then the next one, we're going to be talking about toxic masculinity versus toxic femininity. That's really interesting. I'm curious to hear that from another male's perspective.
Hmm.
I've had two females talk about it and one male talk about it, so you'll be the second one. I think that that's really cool to like hear it from like both perspectives. And
Yeah.
so far, everyone's kind of like female or male, everyone's saying the same thing. And I was just like, interesting. They won't show this type of similar thinking on the media. They won't show any type of collaboration or they, the media makes money off of division.
Yeah. It does. It
Division
does. Right.
equals
They want to just divide us because
oh,
that's how you conquer, right? Divide and conquer. That's just how it goes.
exactly. Very wickedly wise, very strategic from a business move. That is honestly,
And not
unfortunately.
to mention, like sensationalism always sells.
For those of us who don't know, and by us I do mean me, who don't know what sensationalism means, go ahead and elaborate to what
Kind
sensationalism
of like when things are, um, like we have the concept of like spilling the tea, right? When things are juicy, when they're
is.
hot, when you research and whatnot, right? So when things are just really, I guess, like kind of out there, they're outlandish, they're a little mind-boggling in a sense. That's
Yeah.
sensational.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah.
It's very like provocative type of journalism.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we love that. We love a good educational word. Um, okay, yeah. Sorry. Oh, are you? Oh, you're frozen. Okay, I thought you were just making a blank face. Um, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can, exit and then hop right back on. Here, let me text it to you. So, folks, while we do that, we're gonna go ahead and stall. But I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for this. Here, should I just call him? I think I'm just gonna call him because I don't have time to text. Oh, just kidding. He's back. Oh, nope, he's not back. We
Wait,
love
no, I
that.
think I am. Hopefully. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can see you. Okay, so if you do freeze at all during the episode, you can click off and then click right back on. It'll let you right back in. So it's happened before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened like one
Okay,
time
okay.
before, and it still works very well and phenomenal. So if you ever stop hearing me, if I ever freeze, on my end, I can see if I freeze. But if you ever stop hearing me because
Mhm.
you froze, just click off and jump right back on. No biggie.
Okay, okay, for sure.
Coolio. Okay, so which topic do you want to get into first? I'm actually curious to just hear more. Um, Go ahead. Like, what topic would you like to get into first? I'll let you pick.
Honestly, I'm down to roll the dice, right? And I love just impromptu things and improvising. So if you want to just start us off, surprise me.
Okay. Okay,
What's
cool.
got you the most intrigued? What would you say?
Uh, I would say the most intriguing is the when life has robbed you and the toxic masculinity versus toxic femininity. So we're gonna do, I guess, roll the dice. Let's do. Okay. So when you feel life has robbed you, what from even your where do we even start? I don't even know where to start from that. So why that topic? What drew you to that topic, and like how does that relate to like your experiences?
Oh man. So the reason I thought that topic specifically just kind of stuck out to me is because a little life update for all you guys. The past 2 years I was in Bloomington, Indiana, and in January of this year I just moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. The reason being is in December of last year I actually got laid off from my job, and on top of that too, I also
Hey, wait,
had I
pause
was
real
going through like
quick.
a breakup.
Deshant, pause real
For
quick.
sure.
Okay, move,
Yep.
do something. Okay, good. Okay, now you're back. It was going, the audio was going faster than the video, or vice versa. Okay, continue. You're good.
Okay. Okay. Actually, you know what? I want to see. Do you think I want to try opening this on my phone and see if it'll be a bit better?
Sure,
Is
yeah,
that
I've had
cool?
people do that. Yeah, go ahead and do that. I'll stall while you do
Okay.
that.
Got a shower. Gotcha. Give me one
Okay,
sec.
cool. Okay, folks. Oh my God, I'm so excited to get into this. Oh my gosh. Yes. He's looking good, isn't he? He's handsome. He's glowing. Y'all see the skin? It's gleaming. The skin is skinning. It's gleaming. It's gleaming. I don't know what products he used or if it's just flawless and natural. He just woke up like that. Um, but yes, folks. So we love a good technical difficulty, but while we stall, can we just appreciate these headphones? Y'all want to know where I got them? Nowhere fancy or special. It was $30 and at Walgreens. And it was a last minute purchase because I was it's just amazing. Look at that. What the oh. Okay,
Okay.
it's
My phone is taking a while to download the app, so I'm just gonna go back on this. I instead switched to my Wi-Fi, so hopefully this works a little better.
okay. Cool, cool. It's seeming working better. It's clearer. You're gleaming. Okay, so you stopped at um You had moved to Raleigh and you were going through a breakup. That's where you stopped at.
Yeah, yeah, and I just lost my job and everything too. We got laid off. My company was doing like massive site-wide layoffs, not even
Mm,
site-wide actually, like just on a global scale. And it put me in a moment where I was kind of like in a dark place, honestly, like mentally, emotionally, and everything. It felt like the world, the universe at large was almost like against me, right?
mhm.
Also, quick question for you on this podcast: am I allowed to delve into like more explicit content?
Oh, it's vulnerability time. We say everything under the sun.
Every
Literally,
oh, okay,
literally.
okay. So I just a little preface. I've never really delved into psychedelics specifically before all this.
Mhm.
But I actually tried mushrooms for the first time, magic mushrooms, right? So like
Okay.
psilocybin, and for those that don't know, that's a Schedule One. It's labeled a Schedule One drug, meaning it's under a legal context. It serves no therapeutic or medicinal use, but the
Mhm.
data, all the research suggests otherwise, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm a huge proponent of it now. But back then, back in December, I gave it a shot for the first time.
Yeah.
And it
Would you say that
revolutionary.
was like part of because of the low moment it led you to that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I had a bunch
Mhm.
of friends that they were more, I guess, like active, like psychonauts, right? Like they really delved into that stuff more frequently.
Mhm.
And I was like, screw it, I have a lot going on right now. I need to figure some stuff out. I need to do like some
Right.
internal reflection and healing. And I gave it a shot, and it was revolutionary in terms of
A lot of people
my
say that.
perspective, right? It actually opened up so many doors. It literally awakened my third eye in a sense because I realized, oh, all of this is purely a matter of perspective. I feel like I've been robbed, and therefore I have been. That is becoming my reality, right?
Mhm.
There's a concept known as solipsism, which is really interesting because it basically suggests that the external universe is not actually real. It's only the internal universe. So whatever you want reality to be is what you need to project onto it. So it's all dictated by your perception. And I realized, okay, you know what? Up until this point in my life, every door that has seemingly been closed on me has only led to another one opening. And if that's the case, if that's been the case so many times, why
Yeah.
is it not going to be the case again? Why am I constantly thinking of, oh my God, I'm going to fail, or oh my God, the worst outcome might happen? Why not instead go down the route of assuming the best, right? The law of assumption.
Yes.
And people will call you delusional at first, but it's only delusional until it works, right?
You dropped that mic right there. Oh yeah, speak those wisdoms, Deshant.
Yeah, yeah. So it was life changing. And then wouldn't you know it, literally within 2 weeks, got a new job on my doorstep, 30K salary increase right there, all my relocation covered, living my best life. And honestly, and also I was getting my company still gave me a severance package. So for 2 months, I just took a little vacation, a paid vacation essentially,
That's right.
right? Because I just got out of that negative mindset. I
Hmm.
realized I'm like, no, like it might be a cruel world that I live in, but the universe at large is benevolent. It wants the best for you. You
It's
just have
true.
to ask. You just have to assume.
Yeah. Yes. Manifest that law of attraction
Yep,
and
yep.
also the law of polarity. The law of polarity, according to the law of polarity, what's up, like we know the only reason this is what it's the theme of it is this is and I'm about to give an example is the reason why we know up is because there's down. Otherwise, we can't recognize that there's a up because we've never been down. And I don't mean that just circumstance wise. I mean that just in general.
Hmm.
Literally, like the only reason why I know that there's a sky is because I'm aware that there's a ground.
Hmm.
I'm the
Exactly.
only reason why there's north is because there is a south.
Hmm.
So a lot of times the extent to our downs in life, you know, we can experience that extent of up.
Exactly.
You had
Exactly.
a yeah,
You're only able to experience night because you know what day is like. Right.
yes,
Exactly.
yes, and it's like the darkest midnight. You're able to recognize and experience the lightest sunlight. Like the sun is only going to be brighter because of that darkest night because you've it's been your, for example, it can be someone's normal to experience only midnight. Like people in Alaska, like they experience dark for so long. Now, if they came to Texas, that sun is so bright. But to people who grew up here in Texas, I know that you're in North Carolina, but to people who grew up here in Texas, of course we experience nighttime because we get it every single day. But our experience of nighttime does not look like Alaska's nighttime. Their nighttime is a lot darker and a lot longer, like
Oh yeah,
months. So it's like to us, yeah, the sun is bright, but like, you know, it's bright, very bright, but because, but it's not that bright to us as opposed to someone who comes here from Alaska. Does this
yep.
make sense? The law of polarity.
Oh yeah,
That's how
indeed,
it
without a
works.
doubt. And it's always just it's always darkest before dawn too. There's always a cosmic balance and equilibrium in the world. If you're gonna go through turmoil and a rough time, it will inevitably be followed by a balancing force, which is going to
Right,
be a good time, a time of prosperity, right?
right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I think that that's really encouraging to hear that, yeah, like the dark moment. Just for example, the extent of like how people say there's a thin line between love and hate.
Yep,
The extent that you love can be I mean, the extent that you hate can be the extent that you love.
yep.
Um, So, but I think that's really encouraging. I feel like that's definitely encouraging for someone out there who is in a dark moment, you know, um, that eventually, you know, that just will make the sunshine um, even more better.
Exactly. And then also another thing I definitely want to touch on too is like I think you do have to be a bit almost. I hate to use the word psychopathic,
Hmm.
but in a
Hmm.
sense you kind of have to be. You have to be really a masochist during these moments, right? Like one
What
thing.
does that mean? I know what that means, but for those who don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So for sure. So a masochist is the opposite of a sadist. A sadist is someone who enjoys inflicting pain on others. A masochist is someone who enjoys receiving pain, right?
Mm.
And I'm a big masochist when it comes to the gym, for example, right? The gym itself is kind of like a microcosm for life at large because you're in turmoil, you're suffering, you're lifting all these heavy
How
weights.
much you bench?
Oh, 315.
Okay, see, that's nothing. I bench 316. Throw
Oh my
that.
God. Wow.
Ew. Okay, yeah, sorry, continue. I've
No, no,
been
no.
dying
It's
to
not.
ask you that.
I appreciate it. You got, let me throw a little slight flex out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're basically tearing those microfibers in your muscles in the gym, and it's grueling and it's taxing on your body. But what comes out of it is going to be inevitably more growth. And so you kind of just every time you're in a tricky situation in life and in a predicament where things are just not going in your favor, the deck is stacked against you, you have to realize I'm only going to grow out of this. This
Mhm.
is my character development arc, and therefore you need to thrive and enjoy the process.
Mhm. Right.
This isn't a destination, contrary to popular belief. It is just enjoying the process to the destination.
Can you say that again?
Happiness is not the destination itself, it is the pursuit of a destination. And that destination is whatever you want it to be.
Wow. Timestamp right there. I'm writing down any advertisement sound bites. Boom. Wow. Oh, there's something that I want to tell you about. I'll just wait till after this. I think you'd find it. Oh, y'all, we love a technical difficulty. Oh, okay, great. He's great. It's back.
It's back.
We
It's
do it.
back.
Yeah. I, I want to like I want to tell you something after this though.
Okay.
I think you would really appreciate it
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it seems like you're in the space where it seems like you have the mindset to receive it and ready to hear it.
Definitely, definitely. I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah,
Whatever it may be.
it's definitely gonna be a good thing. Also, when it comes to mushrooms, this is the thing. I don't do it. I don't do drugs. One, I'm just afraid of drugs. I'm prescribed drugs and I'm still afraid of them. I'm a fan of drugs. I'm just personally afraid of them because um I remember this one time where I was prescribed a drug. The side effects were just I had allergic reaction to it and I was just like,
Yeah, yeah, no. It's fully
Yeah,
warranted. I get that. I get that.
yes, but um, Big Pharma definitely is a fan of the illegalization of drugs because of not prescribed drugs. I'm talking about like natural,
Organic stuff that comes from the earth.
exactly, because that's not a moneymaker for them.
Oh yeah.
They want you to have prescribed drugs, um, and charge you buku amount of money.
Oh yeah.
And the only one of the downfalls with that, because everything has its pros and cons, is unfortunately, um, they want it to be unregulated for us because they want us to fall into addiction, because we will go into the system in some way, shape, or form, and they can make money off of us.
Yeah.
So I personally am a fan of the legalization of drugs. I think that the reason why it is not quote unquote legal is because big pharma wants to make a lot of money. And when you look at the few, because I think it's about six corporations that run um, capitalism. And this is legit facts, folks. You can go research it, or you can reach out to me on Instagram and I can see the research. This is what we're having to go over in my class, and I have to do a huge research. I've already did the research project on it, but it made me very depressed because I'm just like, I hate humans. I was like, of course they would do this. But anyways, Big Pharma is one of the big companies that own America. They are above the president, they're above Congress, all that good stuff. Um, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's very strategic why there is such a stigma on, for example, mushrooms. Um, there's also a lot of information that we can receive and open up to that they don't necessarily want us to know because um, freedom, um, they don't want us to have too much freedom because they want to control us. And how can you control someone is by limiting someone's perception, is by stigmatizing many things. Um, yeah, it's suppression equals money. Control is cash. So a lot of people, if you research it, it's like a lot of people, for example, who've done mushrooms, they become enlightened to a different kind of reality that is around them that um, promotes creativity, promotes freedom, but that's not how um, the higher powers that be within capitalism, the 1%, they don't want that. They want to promote a limit. They want to promote just um, a one-way type of thinking. For example, it's our schooling system. It doesn't promote creativity. It takes creativity out of children. What it does promote is workers.
Hmm.
One set thing, and if you do it wrong, you're bad. So now you got to do it correctly. Like it doesn't promote creativity, it promotes restriction. So I'm a fan of people doing mushrooms. I don't have a stigma on it. Um, I don't honestly. There's a reason why there is a stigma on it, and it is not for the betterment of humanity. They
Yeah.
could legalize it, like they could legalize it and uh, give us information on how to moderate it, or for us to go see a person and um, they just help us with that. Like we could just buy it off the street and then go to a psychologist and they can help us to moderate it. You know what I mean? Things like
Exactly.
that. But enough about that. There's just a lot that goes into it. But you are just such a testament to breaking free from the societal matrix.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. No doubt. No
yeah.
doubt.
Yes. So thanks for sharing. Anything else you want to add before we go on to the
Oh, on
next
that
topic?
note, oh man, just as there's a billion things I could add.
I love my
Uh,
new name.
all right, like I can talk about this topic for just days on end.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot to just factor in general. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Like you said, I
sure.
think it's something that should be destigmatized. All the clinical data and research that we have suggests that it is in fact very beneficial. Obviously under like guided supervision,
Right.
and then with like a like a moderated dosage and everything, it can be tremendously impactful in the most beneficial of
Yeah.
ways.
I'm about to drop another mic drop. Weed, mushrooms, that wasn't always illegal. That's a modern age concept
Yeah,
that certain drugs are illegal. People have you it's people it doesn't matter if it's in the Bible days, the days where this or that, the days before that, like it's historically it's always been used. No one would frown upon someone for using that. That wasn't a thing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Native
At
American shamans
all.
do it too and everything, right? Like
Yeah,
whole rituals and ceremonies behind it for a lot of indigenous cultures, and there's a reason why. It does allow
exactly.
you to transcend and to ascend to a different level of just state of
Right.
being. Right?
And it wasn't even in the realm of legal or illegal. It just was. The reason why I'm saying legal, putting that term on it is to, relate it to our current state. Like, so legal, I'm still going to use the word just to help prove the point. It is mushrooms, weed, all that natural stuff has been more legal throughout history than illegal.
Mhm.
Um, we gotta understand the history and the context of substances like that. It is very strategic why the modern era, um, hence capitalism's growth, why the modern era has now stigmatized it. But if we go back then, like if people from back then hit a time machine and looked at us now, they're like, I we do this is normal. Why are y'all frowning upon that? What? Y'all are weird, not us. Like yeah. So yeah, I just think it's you know pretty cool, and I love that you also stated within moderation, because too much of anything it is gonna be bad for humans.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So go you, Deshant, go you.
Thank you. I
Go
appreciate it.
you. Okay, so next topic. Let me see. Okay, so do you want to pick or you want me to pick?
Go for it.
Okay. Fear is not a solid foundation, but love is. I don't even know. I have. I don't even know what to say right now. My mind is blank. So go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Why that topic?
So this is another interesting one, and it's also one that I can tie back to that. Again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but I can tie
Oh,
back to
yeah.
that first mushroom trip that I had in December, right? I realized that a lot of my life, in terms of my achievements, my accolades, the things that I've accomplished throughout the course of my life, it's really been on the basis of uh, honestly spite. A lot of just negative emotion has fueled the things
Yeah.
that I've done, right? The heights that I ascend to, it's always been because of like, oh, like I have to prove people wrong, or oh, I have to show this to someone else, or I have to show someone else up. It's a very competitive, cutthroat kind of mindset, which
Wow.
again, like not to stigmatize that because that in itself is not inherently bad.
Right.
It can be very motivational. At the end of the day, it is
Right.
just a fuel source, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
neutral. It can be neutral.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be my sole source of fuel, especially once I moved to North Carolina. I entered a much more healthier lifestyle, state of mind, and I found myself not being as driven. I was wondering, like, why is my inner flame diminished? Uh, and it came back to the fact that I just didn't have enough of that hate or that spite to fuel me anymore. So I needed a new source, right?
Oh my God.
And
Same.
yeah, exactly. And actually, so one thing that really struck a chord with me, I don't know if I don't know if you or any of the viewers watch the show You on Netflix with like
Oh
John
yeah.
Goldberger. Oh yeah, yeah. So like
That's
season
my
4,
husband. He's my husband.
well, season 4 came out, and I'm sure you recall too. Like there was a scene where he attempted to commit suicide, jumped off a bridge. Also, by the way, not trying to spoil anything for anyone, but a little segment of one of the episodes of season 4 was, he jumped off a bridge, tried to commit suicide, and as he's drowning, he comes upon a realization of like, oh my god, I have been spending so much time,
Mm,
spending expending so much energy trying to give my love to other people. And he remembers his younger self. He was like, oh my God, that's who I really should have given love to. That's who I really should have paid attention to, is my inner child, just me. I should have poured that love into me. And that's basically the realization that I came upon, is like, oh my God, like this is my new fuel source. My love for myself, my love for that 8-year-old version of me, as well as not even just him, but also the 80-year-old version of me, my past self and my future self. I have to do it for me, because once I can do it for myself, out of love, out of that genuine tenderness, I'll
Yes.
be able to give back to my community, to my friends, to my family, the people in my life, so much more. Because I myself am innately fulfilled. So I can give out of a place of abundance and not lack and scarcity.
Wow.
Right? And in that process, I learned that love essentially is the emotion that I need to constantly just harp on. My love for myself, my love for mankind at large, my love for my work, my love for everything that I do. Fear is just not the way.
Right.
Fear, if anything, is it's not to say fear is disadvantageous. It has its benefits and its purposes, right? Fear
Right.
is the reason that when you're walking in a dark alley, you don't approach that hooded stranger.
Yeah, you
Right?
better not.
Exactly. You need fear, but
You
again, just in moderation. It's to prevent you from entering a sticky situation you don't want to be in. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't be fearful of what might happen if I do so and so. Oh my God, I might lose. Oh my God, I shouldn't enter just this venture or this enterprise because I might fail miserably. You need to approach it with a detachment towards any outcomes, and you need to assume the best outcome. Even if initially you might lose, you have to believe that in the future you will win.
right. Ooh, I got something to add to that. For the folks, and by folks I also mean me, because I know we are human. When the fear doesn't leave, I want to encourage y'all, do it afraid. Do it afraid. Because maybe that feeling might not leave so quick, but our actions, we can still do it afraid. Yeah, it's like it's gonna get done, and then we're gonna be so grateful that wow, I'm so glad I did that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, no
yeah.
doubt. And it's the best way
Um.
to really like gauge like how brave and courageous you are. You're only brave and
Yes.
courageous if you initially have some fear. But
Mm-hmm.
it's you having fear and still pushing forward. That's what makes
Hmm.
you brave. That's what makes you courageous.
Yeah. I want to go back a little bit about what you said about my husband's um suicide attempt on that show you. Because he is my husband. I don't care. That man is romantic. I was like, oh my God, is this toxic? I was like, but like,
Maybe.
wow. Maybe just a little bit. I was like, what? But I know a lot of people. I know he's a lot of people's husbands, people who watch the show, but he's really my husband. Everyone else just wishes. Um, I think that's what we're gonna settle on about that. Um, yeah, okay, but all jokes aside, a lot of what you said about the realization that he had, you know, coming from someone like me who committed suicide at the age of 15, in this very room, actually, in this very room that I'm recording this podcast,
Mhm.
literally in this very room, um, I definitely can attest to that kind of breakage from my internal societal matrix, my internal matrix and my, personal matrix and my personal limiting outlooks.
Yeah.
You know, coming back from an experience, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about a little after this, about what happened after during that experience, excuse me, what I encountered. Um, I definitely, and I know a lot of people are like this. They come back with this newfound sense of love and this new outlook on love. Look at the guns. Look at the guns. That's that bench press 315. Now, me, folks, look at that. That's 316 right there. He could never.
Got me beat. I'll
I
get that
got
one day. Look at that.
you.
Sound.
Uh, yeah, so I think that that is very interesting that you okay, first of all, let me just say you were just spitting all kinds of wisdom. I was not expecting, like, I'm literally blown away. No wonder you're an all-star. The Deshant that was on season one is completely different. I see so much growth in you. It's just so different. Oh my gosh, there's just energy and vibe coming from you. It's go you.
Hey,
I'm proud of you because you could have quit and no one would blame you, honestly. You could have gave up and no one would blame you because it's understandable. I'm proud of you.
thank you.
I'm not I'm not necessarily saying I'm not just focusing on I'm proud of you for where you are now. I'm proud of you for the moments where maybe you felt like giving up. I'm proud of you for those dark moments.
I appreciate you, and I'm just as proud to you, proud of you, right? I want to make sure that's abundantly clear because you've gone through a bunch of shit yourself, and you've endured, and you've come out on top. So I'm not just proud of the present you. I'm proud of the past you, right? The one that did all the enduring. I'm proud of the present you that has come out on top, and I'm proud of the future you that will continue to shine in glory.
I fucking receive that. I receive that. I feel that. I feel that. I receive that. I fucking receive that.
Damn right.
1000%. Okay. So, anything else to add before we move on to the next topic?
Off the top of my mind, no, I think I'm good. I think I
Okay.
hit all the bases.
So, toxic masculinity and slash versus toxic femininity. What? Go for it, Deshant. Why that topic? What interested you? Because that topic is vastly uh different than um the two topics that we that we just discussed. I'm curious.
Yeah, yeah. No, so the reason I chose that one specifically is because of the fact that over the course of my life as a man, I have struggled quite a bit when it comes to defining what is masculinity and how do I maintain my masculine frame, how do I enter my masculine energy, and specifically my divine masculine energy. Right, that's been a point of contention, a point of struggle for me quite a bit. Because as a child, just to preface, I was much more of a feminine kid. Like I was very soft, very tender. I wasn't into conventional things that a lot of boys were interested in. Like I didn't really care about cars or sports for that matter, right? I've always been more into like I definitely was into like the nerdy stuff, like anime and like video games and all that. But I really always had like a penchant for fashion and spirituality, crystals, astrology, numerology, like things that are conventionally more feminine. So confused, and then not to mention, I'm also just a bit of a lover boy at heart. So having that streak in me too, it made it difficult in relationships when I would enter a romantic engagement with someone who was, you know, maybe not as romantic as me. So then it kind of put me in a
Mm,
situation where I was like, oh shoot, like, am I feminine or am I too feminine? Am I not masculine enough?
mm, mm,
So over the course of the years, I did a lot of research into it. I looked into it myself. It also makes it difficult when you don't have a lot of like masculine role models around you, right? Because you're kind of in a situation where you have to just pave the path yourself. And what I've really truly come to discover is that toxic masculinity or toxic femininity, these are misnomers because I don't believe you actually can be toxically masculine. And hear me out when I say that. Toxic masculinity, what people are referring to, what they actually mean to say is not masculinity,
mm,
it's a lack of masculinity. That's what is truly
mm,
toxic, right? And first, we also need to define what is masculinity, what is femininity at their basis, at their core. Masculine energy is just about taking action and initiative, and therefore it is finite because you can only do so much of that. Feminine energy, however, is about receiving and being present, and that is infinite. You can do an infinite amount of that, and you need both. You need that duality to maintain right the cosmic balance, the universal equilibrium. So if you were truly a masculine man who was in masculine frame, you would not be toxic. For example, what we define to be toxic masculinity is a guy who is maybe super braggadocious, who's really just maybe excessively self-aggrandizing, always just
yes.
right. He's like
Logan Paul, even though I do love me some Logan Paul because he's on WWE now and he's the new United States champion. Um, I learned to stop hating Logan Paul and to just be like, this man is talented. But yes, he's
Right?
definitely what a lot of people would define as what you're just saying
Yeah,
with the
he has this like this chip on his shoulder. These guys need to like flex their big muscles and show the world, oh, this is who I am, this is what I am. Like, look at me. But that stems from insecurity. That isn't true confidence because true confidence is
yeah.
quiet. Like, if I drive a Maserati, I don't need to tell you that I drive it. You'll just see my car whipping through the freeway, right? Like, you're just gonna know
Do you have a Maserati? Is that what you're telling us?
one day.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. I was like, I can
I
see
just
it.
live like I have one, right? Just because again, like the law of assumption, I'll get one eventually. If I embody that energy right now, currently, I'll just get one eventually, no matter what.
Mm,
But yeah, point being, right? It's the absence of masculinity. That's what makes someone toxic,
hmm
right?
hmm Also something that I thought was pretty cool that you had mentioned when you were going back to your previous days. It made me think of how uh, you s- i- you had some more feminine traits. Um, it made me think of how so many people possess both traits. Honestly, humans possess both traits to some extent, and two things can be true at once.
Exactly. Human
Can
beings
be,
are walking, talking contradictions. We're complex, convoluted creatures. We're
yeah,
multifaceted, multidimensional. You can be black and white at the same time. That's just how it goes.
right, right, exactly. And it's just like you can take initiative and then also receive love. Hello, if someone's married. I mean, it's just like you
Yeah,
could take initiative to get on that knee and propose. Um, you're also receiving love in that moment as well, or else you
exactly.
wouldn't be on that thing proposing. Obviously, not everybody is the same. Some people, it's marriage is not about love. Marriage is about an ego boost, and they're not really there. But anyways, yes, toxic masculinity, toxic femininity. Um, yeah, it's stemming. It seems like that's stemming from limitations, expectations,
Hmm.
and insecurities.
Matt.
Either all together or just separately or two out of the three, whatever. Some type of limitations, insecurity, and or expectation.
Yeah,
Um, having to prove something to others or to yourself consistently. That is also the definition of insecurity, by the way, when you're having to prove something whether it's to yourself or to others on a consistent basis. I'm not saying oh someone's bad for doing that. I'm just saying that is a reality and a fact. I have that. I'm doing a lot better at it, but I have definitely that insecurity. But it's less and less now that like I'm out of my undergraduate degree. For example, like being you and I were both LU ambassadors.
yep.
um, I'm gonna be honest with you. My um my presence there, I definitely was doing it to prove myself. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. you
No, and
know,
I'd be lying if I said the opposite. I was doing the exact same thing.
yeah.
I get
I
it.
mean, because wearing those red coats,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly, I was like, check me out.
Uh-huh.
Look at
Uh-huh.
me, red is my color. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Um, anything else you want to add, Deshant, before we
Yeah, I
go?
also like in light of this topic too, I also want to address like there are so many misconceptions that I've noticed people have about the idea of being masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm going on masculinity specifically is because, just me being a man. Um, because I told a girl the other day actually that I like to consider myself a more traditional, conventional masculine man,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, oh well, that also consists of like you not being emotionally expressive, right? Like you're just not allowing yourself to be emotional. And I'm like, oh no, actually, like not at all. A masculine man is indeed emotional, and he embraces and accepts his emotions for what they are. The difference is though a masculine man is taming his emotions, right? It's a wild style like stallion, but he's kept it within an enclosure and he has it tamed and under control. So he's not just exploding and emotionally vomiting on people. That is masculinity,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
There's just so many. misconceptions and
Right.
misplaced maliciousness and ideas towards these ideas that really need to be addressed and
Right.
reconciled.
And to not to mention as well, to add on to that, because what you just said, totally a reality for many people. Um, Also to mention, we are humans first before we are masculine or feminine, and a human just is until another human comes and puts a definition. For example, a tree just is a tree. It literally just is a tree. However, a human comes along and we put this label, oh, that tree's ugly or that tree is pretty. And therefore, it is now um, limited um, from someone's perception of it. It is now internally limited as only pretty or only ugly. It it's when fact no longer overtakes opinion. That's
Hmm.
where we can have a lot of limitations. So it's like the fact of the matter is it's a freaking tree. It's a
Yeah,
tree.
yeah, yeah.
And
There's no
then
need to
here we
ascribe all
go.
these labels, right? Like,
Exactly. And so people do that, to humans, and we place definitions and labels. Um, that's unfortunately how the world works. And the thing is that I feel like has neutrality to an extent. However, um, not everything. Many things have many decisions, thoughts, actions can have consequences, and the term consequence is neutral. That means that something good can be a consequence and something bad or something that we define as bad or we define as good can be a consequence. And so it's just like, what's to say what it really is? Because it's just like my perception, this is just like someone's perception of masculine could be the definition of what you just said that you are. Like you take initiative and you can express emotion.
hmm.
To someone, I've heard people say that that is so masculine of him to do. They didn't say that to me. I'm not saying that to me. I'm saying like to others. I've heard that being said, and so it's like, but then there's another person that can say, "Oh no, that's not masculine," And so I'm just like, that's your opinion at this point, honestly. Humans are the ones that gave the definition of masculine femininity. At the end of the day, the fact is humans are human. Then comes opinions.
Yep, yep. And I
So
can't.
I love that
I don't
because
necessarily.
what you're doing, Deshant, is, and I'm so proud of you for doing this. Um, Honestly, how society is, a society that we're born into, you and I, um, there are labels. There just are. You are defining all of, like, you are defining all of those.
Yeah,
I love that. You're doing amazing.
I think it's really, really wildly important to establish your own codes and your
Yeah.
own definitions for everything in life. You don't need to, and you shouldn't accept everything the society just feeds you, right?
Right.
You need to come to your own conclusion, reach your own decisions. You
Hmm.
need to embark on whatever journeys you want to. You need to make mistakes. You need to stumble. You need to fall,
Yeah.
and you have to learn from it. And you have to
Yeah.
develop everything out on your own.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, right, like you said, right, everything is subjective. Everything is on the basis of like your personal experience and your personal
Mhm.
perception,
Right.
right? And this is why it's so important to like not live in fear. Like tying it all back, not live in fear. You need to just a lot of times take that leap of faith, do something wild, do something extraordinary, because maybe, just maybe, it'll allow you to, gather new intel, new information that might change your scope and your perception of the world at large.
Hmm. Right. Bingo.
Bingo.
Freaking bingo.
And then you'll
Also,
just live a more authentic life. You'll just be more true to yourself.
yes. Also, I do also want to add on to that. Pretty much try your best, folks, to break out of the societal matrix that is it's so limiting for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
A reason. And it's just like, who are the ones that are defining that
I
for
mean, if
us?
you really seek to be an individual, if you're cool with being a sheep, then by all means, right? Fall, live in
Right.
that matrix.
Right, right. Exactly.
But if you prioritize, individuality, um, then yeah,
Yeah.
study, learn, embark on perilous quests. Right? There's so
Yeah.
many opportunities out there. Just take them. See where
Yes. Yes. Uh, Deshant,
Josias.
it's just oh my God, I love my new name, man. Deshant, you're an all-star, and I think that it's very, very extremely evident. Um, I remember you weren't able to come on season three, going through stuff, and people life happens and stuff like that. Um, so it might not have came when I wanted it to, but it came when it's needed.
Exactly.
When that, so it's just like
Divine timing, right?
exactly because it's just like if you were on season three, we probably wouldn't be having the same conversation.
Yeah.
But now you're on the other side of what you were going through,
Hmm.
and now look at you. It's enlightened, just different, and you're able to bring that um, triumph story to us.
Indeed.
Oh,
Indeed.
it is very much obliged. Thank you so much, Deshant. It's
Of
very much
course.
obliged.
Of
That is
course.
my new favorite word, by the way, folks. Obliged. I feel so professional, like I
Yeah.
own a company.
And
Yeah.
the sentiment is like fully reciprocated too. By the way, the feeling is
Yeah.
incredibly mutual.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you
dude.
for providing this opportunity. Thank you.
It is very much obliged.
An outlet for expression. I love it.
Yes. Okay. All right, folks. That has been another episode of Vulnerability Time. I am your host and published author, Josias Abril. I graduate next week, folks, and then I'm moving to another state. I'm not going to speak too much on it right now, but
You're gonna tell me, right?
I I'm not going to
Everything-
jinx it.
everything goes-
I'll tell you when it's official. How about that?
Okay, deal.
I'm very looking forward to a new journey in my life,
I can't wait.
new chapter. I
Excited
mean,
for you.
thank you. It is very much obliged. Okay, alrighty, folks. See you next week for whatever episode that will be on Vulnerability Time.